Welcome to Live from Dennis's House. Today we're spotlighting The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars by David Bowie, released June 16th, 1972. Do you know what happened in 1972, Stephen? I don't like to talk about it, it's very painful. That I was actually kidnapped in 1972, and they sent a note to my parents. They said, pay us $5,000 or you will see your son again. We're going to start the show off now with a long distance dedication to Joe DeSilvas. Let's listen to Suffragette City, and then we'll be right back to meet the crew and today's guest, my band, the DeSilvas. Big hand for the DeSilvas, yes. So today we got a lot of stuff to do. We are doing our David Bowie tribute finally, because we didn't want to be in the crowd with everybody else when they were doing it, so we like to stand alone. So we're going to celebrate his life, and we're going to talk about everything David Bowie, especially this album. And we were supposed to have the fifth DeSilvas, Joe DeSilvas, Doug's brother, and he called today to say he was in Florida and he can't make it. So, but he said that he's moving to Florida March 1st. Yeah. So he wants to be on the show. He's begging me, let me on the show. Otherwise, I'm just going to crash my car through the garage and I'm going to walk on every next Wednesday when you're recording.
The whole show is going to be beep, 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 beep.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. I was looking forward to that, actually.
Yeah, I know. So, and I wanted to talk about the Super Bowl. Super Bowl's coming up this week, and I know Joe's a big Dallas fan. He loves Tony Romo, and he could weigh in on that. And what else happening? Oh, it was Groundhog the other day. There's a new Groundhog ritual now. That Joe DeSilvas saw his shadow, and he went to Florida, and it's going to be warm now. That's it. Yeah. So, what else I want to talk about? Oh, the interesting story I hear. Did anybody see this story? It was a Nashville drummer. He was doing a concert, right, in a little bar, and it was looking like they were in the front window there. The stage was right in front of the window. So they're playing their song, and they're done, and the crowd is giving them a big standing ovation, and the drummer gets up to raise his sticks, and he trips backwards, and he falls right through the picture window, through the glass and everything, out onto the street. And the trooper that he is, he walks back into the bar and he starts playing again.
Never heard of it.
No, I didn't either. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's great, you know. So
that's dedication.
And then something else that Stephen, I want to talk to him about is that I understand you had a really great night the other night. You were watching Grease live.
I didn't tell
Oh my God.
I saw it was posted all over, just singing along.
Stephen, my mother-in-law loves you.
You say, that is you.
All the old girls love
Yeah,
She
Stephen.
goes like this to me. She goes, who is this Stephen Bello? But I love
9-year-old
him.
girl. Oh, you see, that makes me happy. That's
Watches your videos.
He's such a nice boy.
Yes, yeah. And half of them are blind, and that's what they think I'm adorable. Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah.
But yes, I loved Grease Live. I didn't want to admit it,
really
but how could you not? I think you were watching it then.
She was watching it, and I just walked through and
Yes.
happened to see and hear it, and I'd never actually watched it. I was watching something very manly at that time. I forget what it was. I think Super Bowl pre-show was on at that time.
Great.
I forget what it was. So,
Say yes to the dress.
that's pretty good when we got it.
Doug inspires me. I don't know why. We did the pre-show.
All right, welcome back to Live from Dennis's House. Now we are going to go right to Cha-Cha with the word on the street, gossip columnist to the stars, because Dee Dee is not here today. Dee Dee is actually visiting down in Puerto Rico for a music festival, and it's bright and sunny, beautiful there, and we have 73 inches of rain today.
Yeah, and we miss Dee Dee, so.
Yes, always.
But we have Doug filling in for her.
Yes, we do.
All right, Cha-Cha, what do you got today?
Well, only one story today, and it's about Leonardo DiCaprio, who happens to be one of my favorites.
Me too.
Yeah.
Very good.
Well, he's in a lot of trouble with the American Lung Association because apparently at the SAG Awards he was sitting at his table and he was smoking one of those vapor cigarettes, those e-cigarettes, and they're all up in arms. They're like,
I thought they liked those kind of cigarettes. Though.
No,
Aren't they good for you?
apparently they say that they are not, there's no real testing on them, they're not FDA approved, and they're as dangerous as cigarettes. So what is the point?
They're even worse.
Yeah, right, of course. American public duped once again.
Once
That's
again.
all it is. The whole industry.
You can sell anything.
And every
I
corner you
know.
notice those stupid stores are opening up,
Yeah.
and they'll be closed in about
Oh,
a
yeah,
year
the
and a
vape-
half.
the vape,
Every
sure.
vape shop in the world.
Planet of the Vapes. That's what I'm not even kidding. That's what my name is.
But I don't understand, why are they worse than cigarettes, though?
Well, who knows what's in it? We're not sure yet.
Depending on the chemicals that are in it. You
Yeah,
know, and
yeah.
I heard
It's formaldehyde.
They're coming from China and you don't know what's in it.
There's lead in it, definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's another
okay.
communist plot to overthrow the government, the United States.
Yeah, and it's not the first time he's done it. He seems to have gone from award show to award show smoking this. And the worst part is that he doesn't pass it on.
Yes, yes.
And that's the word on the street.
Maybe
And
he's trying to be the new Marlboro man.
Good.
And I heard that he has, for every one cigarette, he has 2 models that he consumes as well. That,
Bless poor kid. Yeah.
yeah, right? What a life he has.
It's horrible.
So, all right, thank you, Chacha. Now we're going to go and
Welcome.
see what's happening with Stephen Shekibello.
Oh.
And besides Greece, anything else going on in your life?
A couple things happen.
Hey, wait, I gotta tell you, speaking of Greece, I gotta tell you a funny joke before we get to you. That what is worse than Grease on Olivia Newton-John? Come on, Eileen.
Not clever.
Very good.
Get it, Doug?
Yeah. No, I don't. Say it again.
Oh my God.
All right, sorry. I don't know where that came from.
Just that was awesome though. I loved it.
See,
So yeah, what else is going on with you? Sorry to interrupt you.
Yes. Well, I had a little thing with my daughter before we left.
Yeah.
So I yelled at her. I said, that mini skirt is way too short. She said, that's because it's made for a woman, Dad. Now take it off for my friends get here. That's not true. That didn't. But this is true. There's a homeless guy that lives by the deli. And yesterday he comes up to me and he goes, any change? I go, nah, you're still a bum. We were cracking up and then he tried to stab me. That is true. That's a true story.
that's a true story.
Yes.
Yes, we're going politically incorrect today. I was in politically incorrect mode because I thought Joe was coming, so
Yes,
I'm prepared
that's
for it.
right.
So we can get all our Super Bowl stuff
I put
out
on my
now.
thick skin and
Yeah, right. Only one
everything.
girl here too.
Yes,
Yeah.
that
Already.
would've been-
Yeah, because
I
we
guess.
men get to do whatever they want on Super Bowl Sunday. You know that, right?
Nope.
Nope, I didn't know that.
So did you hear about the Zika virus, or how do you pronounce that?
Zika?
Zika.
So now they first said you can only get it from mosquitoes. Now that I heard you can get it from having sex with a
Yes.
mosquito.
No.
So it's like the plague
Right.
starts again. I bet it started from that masturbation booth in New York City that they opened.
Absolutely, I
That
go
we
with
reported
that.
on last week.
Yep.
And you're born with a little tiny head. That's
Did you
that's
say
what
that?
they say.
That's
Yep.
like
The opposite
so
of Delfino.
freaky.
Oh, Fred John with the giant head.
Huge.
Like Beetlejuice, like from
Yeah,
the
exactly.
Stern Show.
Yeah,
His
yeah.
mother must have had the Zika.
A little pinhead, yeah.
Yeah.
Little pinhead.
Wanna be a
and
pinhead.
No, it's so sad.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
Do their heads ever grow or they stay like that?
Well, if you get kicked by a mule, then your head will grow again, it said. That's the only
Gotcha.
antidote. Or if you fall in a well. One of those is the antidote. So, hey, welcome back to Live from Dennis's House. Now we're going to talk to my band, the DeSilvas. And the DeSilvas consist of Doug DeSilva,
Hi.
vocals and guitar. Johnny Miami DeSilva, bass, guitar, and vocals. Jason... I'm not sure what your last name is,
Hanlon.
actually.
Hanlon.
Jason Hanlon
H-A-N-L-O-N.
on drums.
That's what
Jason
he
on
says.
drums and vocals, and me guitar and vocals. And how did we get together? Does anybody know? I met Doug. Was it Vietnam? I think we met.
Vietnam.
1969.
Yeah.
Oh.
And yeah, we were the Primitive Dogs many years ago, and we started playing acoustic punk rock songs at Doug's house, and then John joined, and then we went electric, and Jason joined, and the rest is history. And of course, it's very coincidental that Doug and Steven know each other. They grew up together in Where? Staten Island?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so
favorite people in the world.
you guys,
the Douglas.
you guys got any good Staten Island stories you want to talk about while we're on the air? How about we'll talk about Joe while he's not here? Let's have a good Joe story. What's your favorite Joe story? You got a good one?
I don't
Do you
even
have
know what
one?
to say.
Like
Give me a
one
break.
that's the statute of limitations has run out on it that we can talk about.
I swear that's why he doesn't come.
Yeah,
We
right.
can talk about a story that just happened on Tuesday. How's
Let's
that?
do
Keep it
that.
quick.
Let's do it.
He was in Atlantic City gambling, my brother, and he was losing. And I'll keep it short. And he told the lady that he's gonna go home and get his AK-47 and come back and kill her. So he left the casino in like 4 cop cars, surrounded him with guns drawn on his head.
Oh my
He
God.
called me up in the morning. He's not gonna believe this. I said, "You can't tell people you're gonna kill them.
Yes.
I'm there every day, Doug."
I don't think that's a good excuse.
That's
Yeah.
just a minuscule.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's right.
That's one of the calmer things.
And that was
about the
Tuesday,
show.
so there you go.
Yeah, so the casinos usually frown upon that thing, right? Even if you're Joe Pesci, they frown upon that. But,
Well, they lost my brother that gambles a lot.
oh yeah?
Yeah. Well,
Are they gonna let him back someday?
Well, they're
Maybe?
86th him now.
Because
so-
he's like a whale in there, right? He's a big
Yeah,
shot.
he's-
So yeah, they'll probably let him slide. You know, if the average person did it, they'd tase him and throw him out, and that's it. You
Well,
know,
I heard
but-
they were firing the guy. The deal.
You let him shoot you. You don't complain. He spends a lot of money in
That's
here.
Because Atlantic City's
Yeah, oh, it's
falling
hurting.
apart.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Damn shame what happened to Atlantic City.
I remember picking Steven
Yeah.
up. We were going to a concert. I don't know what it was. It might have been Dio or something. It was in the early '80s, and Steven came out with fur boots on. He had his pants inside out, and he had on a weird, crazy hat.
Oh yes, yes, that's right. I started that trend because then they started
You
making
started
pants
that?
inside out after that. You know what I mean? Like
And
the.
remember when we made our own sneakers, the checkers, the white and
Yes,
black checkers?
yes,
We could
yeah,
buy that
yeah.
stuff. So we were just buying clothes at thrift shops and.
Wasn't there a rap group that started doing that back then?
They stole that.
The little kids. Oh no, they were wearing their clothes
Oh.
backwards. Crisscross.
That
That
was
was their
it.
name, and
They
they
got
were
that
wearing
from
those
me.
backwards.
They got that from
They
me.
just stole your idea.
Yeah,
absolutely.
right. Doug was
Absolutely.
way ahead of
Steven
me.
is, in a way, he's like David Bowie. He's a trendsetter.
That
He never really caught on with the inside-out pants, but keep trying. You never know. Doug's elderly aunt is now going to do that, though. I
Oh, it's
heard.
my mother-in-law.
Oh, your mother-in-law?
She loves Steven.
Please
Joe,
tell her I
Wheeler,
love
Joe,
her.
I know you're watching this, and Steven's right on to my left.
Here's his number. We'll
Yes.
send you his number.
Steven lives at.
Yeah. Well, I'll put up his address. I'll put that up there later. And
Wait,
his social security number.
Did you ever go to the Drunken Monkey?
Oh, with Big Ange. With that.
Yeah.
Yes. No.
No.
That's very
No,
sad.
yeah.
Big Ange is stage 4 now with her cancer.
Oh,
Everybody
really?
knows
Really? Oh, well,
she
I
had
love her.
lung
Big
cancer. She was on Mob Wives, the
Oh,
show,
yeah, yeah.
and they're all from Staten Island. And Big
She on
Ange,
the
Oh, I'm
box.
sorry
she
to
was
hear
the
that. I
biggest
didn't know
one. Very nice, lovely lady. And, so we wish her well.
that. Yes, absolutely.
Yes. So let's talk a little bit about us again. That Stephen, why don't you tell the crowd how awesome the DeSilvas are?
I think this is very awesome. You know I'm the biggest fan.
On a
of
scale from 1 to awesome. How
Yes.
good are we?
Say it slow.
6.5. Absolutely.
Slow down.
I love it. I love. We walk in and you start smiling until I leave. That's always every
Oh,
time I
you're
see
so
you
nice.
guys. Love that.
Awesome.
All my favorite songs. Like nobody does those songs.
That's
Nobody
true.
does the songs that.
That's what we
does.
try to do. We
Yeah,
try to
so
play.
cool.
We play a lot of 70s punk, a lot of 80s new wave, and we throw in some classic rock here and there.
I
and
love
tonight,
Steven Bell.
Aw.
yes.
I love Douglas.
You heard it
though. It's
here
ridiculous.
first.
Tonight we're going to be, because it's our Bowie tribute, we're going to be doing 2 Bowie songs,
Nobody
possibly.
told me that. You gotta call me, man.
We're going to do at least one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Doug, as you know, is the lead singer.
It's gonna cost
And
extra.
do we have any good Doug stories?
No, no.
Yes, we do.
All right, which one?
Millions of
That
them.
one? Oh yeah, all right. This is the funniest thing that Doug ever did. I gotta say that he was calling
Classic.
the bar that we played with back in the Primitive Dog days to talk to the owner to book us, or when we're playing there next or whatever. And as he's on the phone, ready to speak to the guy, he forgets the guy's name. So someone else in the bar answers, and Doug is like, is what's his name there?
God, it was
the funniest thing is that eventually they got him on the phone. He got everyone else was saying, yeah, if that was me, they would have hung up and shut the hell up. But Doug actually gets the guy that he wants to talk to when he says, "What's his name?" There.
That's awesome.
Everybody else remembers that. We were playing. We were like outdoors. We were we were playing one gig outdoors somewhere. Oh, and that's probably the same gig when we were playing in a family park and we were doing Red Hot Chili Peppers. And you were cursing with like 10 little 8-year-olds dancing in front of the stage.
In front of him, and he's.
That was a long time.
And then how many times did they say, "Please get him to stop"?
Oh,
Every time.
We shut down a whole event one time. We were playing on this flatbed truck in a field somewhere, and it was like 20 bands, and we were one of the early bands, and he was cursing so much that the cops came and they made him shut the whole event down. And like there's like 15 other heavy metal bands that hate us now all over
Loud
that.
that PA
Oh,
was.
no one else got to play?
Oh, yeah, they shut it down. They couldn't play. And this was a field with a 50,000 watt PA, so everyone within a 10-mile radius could hear Doug cursing.
It was part of the show.
Yes.
Gotta be you.
Hey, welcome back live from Dennis's house. And now we're going to start the David Bowie tribute. And we're going to spotlight this album right here because this is not where it all started, but this is the album that catapulted Bowie into superstardom. So he was born Davy Jones in South London, and of course we know he had to change his name because there was another guy named Davy Jones you might have heard of from the Monkees. So his first real hit was Space Oddity back in '69, and then from there he went on. He had a little hit here or there, and then he came out with the album Hunky Dory, and the big hit off of there was Changes, right? But this was all leading up to his master plan. This is this album here. It came out in 1972, and everything came together because this is a concept album. It's actually a genius concept album. That it's actually, the concept is that Ziggy is a fictional kind of Martian, kind of rock star who comes down to Earth when Earth only has 5 years left. That we know we're running out of resources, and he's coming back down to Earth, and he's attempting to present humanity with a message of hope. And he represents the definitive rock star, sexually promiscuous, the wild drug use. So I'm kind of like Doug, but with a message, ultimately, of peace and love. And he is destroyed by his own consumptions and by the fans he inspired. So, and that's how the album starts out. He starts out with the song 5 Years, and then it goes through all these amazing songs, one after the other, and we end up with Rock and Roll Suicide, where he dies. So this album, you couldn't get better than this album. It's pure perfection, and he was an absolute genius. Does everybody agree with all of that so far?
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yes. So, and it just took off. When this album first came out, though, not much happened. And remember, this was 1972. It's not like nowadays. And there was nothing like this going on. So, not much as soon as this came out. But then he appeared on Top of the Pops, and it was like a TV show in England. And he was singing Starman, and he was in this crazy clothes with his wild red hair, and he was androgynous. Nobody even knew. He invented that word. Nobody knew what androgynous meant in 1972 until he came out. He also invented homosexuality because that didn't exist until 1972.
Oh, I thought I heard that. Yeah.
So, like, can you imagine what the parents must have been thinking? That these daughters, kids are watching this guy who just in the magazine, like a month before that, also admitted he was a homosexual, but he wasn't really because he was married to Angie Bowie and had a child at the time. So it was more...
He was experimenting.
Right, kind of, so... And he kind of regrets that he said that because then he was married to a man for, however long, pretty long time, right?
He was, he's still married to her.
Oh, well, still?
Right,
Till
well,
death do us
until
part.
death
I hate to
did
tell you
them
this,
apart.
Caroline, but I don't want to break the news to you, but he passed away a couple weeks ago.
Aw.
So,
But does that mean they're not married anymore?
yeah, that's exactly what it means. Till death do you part.
Good
His
to
manager, I was reading that when they came to New York, he created a crowd to follow him around
Mhm.
New York. And bought a limo. They had no money. And everybody would be like, "Wow, who is this guy?"
Oh,
Yeah.
And created
Brilliant,
that
yeah.
drawer.
And he was hanging out with Andy Warhol
Yeah.
at that time, and it was just the
Absolutely.
whole scene was amazing.
He actually
And
changed his name twice, David Bowie.
to what else?
What?
I forgot. I was reading it the other day, but I'm 51 and I forget
It was
everything.
he changed it to Mick Jagger, but then he realized it was someone else called that.
No, but it was Davy Jones and it was something else, and then he settled on.
I
they
disagree
changed
with
to
that
Bowie.
statement.
I'm telling you. Yeah.
Stevie,
The
you
Bowie
have a
challenge.
The challenge has been there.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I gotta say, this was my favorite album by Bowie,
Yeah.
and it was my favorite band. That Mick Ronson, along with him, they were the perfect combination. They were like Keith and Mick, you know, Joe Perry, Steven Tyler. They were that lead singer, guitar player duo that was just amazing.
Yeah.
And they had Trevor Bolder in the band and Mick Woodmansey on drums. And did you know Rick Wakeman even plays keyboards on this album? He was from the band Yes. So he was just. Words escape me how awesome David Bowie was. But now listen to this assemblage of records that he put out, this discography. So we started out with Space Oddity, Man Who Sold the World, then Hunky Dory, then this album, then Aladdin Sane, then Pinups, Diamond Dogs, Young Americans, Station to Station, Low, Heroes, Lodger, Scary Monsters, Let's Dance,
Yeah.
and Tonight. And he redefined himself every step of the way. That he would invent a brilliant concept, and he said he would get annoyed by it because it became too popular. So he threw it away, and he'd invent something else. And that's when he became Ziggy. And can you imagine being at one of these shows? Because it was only for like a year or so, 2 years tops, where he was performing as Ziggy Stardust.
Right, yeah.
You know, and
Always reinventing.
Right. And then he went to something else, and you know, then when you think it couldn't go on anymore, back in the 80s, he becomes awesome in the MTV generation
Right.
in his videos, and he brings what's his name, Stevie Ray Vaughan. He introduces Stevie
Yeah.
Ray Vaughan to the world.
When did he officially become the White Duke?
That was like 75, I think.
What release
Or
was that?
76. It was Station to Station.
Station to
Pull that
Calm
out, Doug.
yourself down.
Doug is the engineer there. See that David Bowie there, Young Americans, and then when he
Want me
became
to hold some?
Station to Station,
There we go.
that is one of my favorite albums as well. I'm going to say that about every album there.
I was gonna
Pull
say.
that other album out there. I want to say I have a funny story about this
Which
one.
one?
The DJ
Ah,
one that you
yeah.
had. No, Doug, the one right above
Larger.
it. Yeah, Larger. See, I have a funny story about this. This was the first album that I ever shoplifted. And no, it wasn't the first one I ever shoplifted. It was the first one I ever got caught shoplifting, I gotta say. Yeah,
This
so.
is the one you ran.
Yes,
and
I ran out of Alexander's in
Yes.
Queens, New York, and
Alexander's,
I was
wow.
14 at the time, and two security guards, they must have been like 22. I figured they would stop after half a block. They chased me for a good 20 minutes, in and out of stores, along the highway, in and out. And, you know, I was like a gazelle when I was 14, but these guys wouldn't give up, and eventually they ran me down.
Damn.
And that was the end of the story.
Where was it? Like in your shirt?
No, I bought one album. My friend Chris bought another album, and then we came back in and tried to sandwich it.
Yeah.
And then we're walking out the front door, and I look back and I see a black girl security guard in hot pursuit of me. So I cut out. She grabs Chris, throws him to the ground, puts her high heel in his neck,
Oh, nice.
and that was it. The police were called. There was a whole big scandal. Family embarrassed. Never got over it. So anyway.
Feeling isn't
So, anyway, let's get back to Bowie now. Bowie, he influenced everyone. Even if you don't know you're influenced, you've been influenced. Name someone. Let's go around. Who was he influenced? All right. He was influenced by Lou Reed, and then in turn he came around and influenced Lou Reed back. Did the same thing with Iggy. He influenced Elton John, Alice Cooper, even Mick Jagger, Madonna, Lady Gaga. Name
The
someone,
list
Doug.
is endless.
Kiss, exactly. Everybody in this world. And like I said, he invented homosexuality, so right there.
I don't
Steven?
think that's
That's what influenced me. You're right.
Is that wrong to say? It's the politically incorrect show. Speaking of Joe DeSilva, so
This is
anyway.
an honor, Joe.
Well, here, now, all right, so we are now going to do the news here because we're running out of time. So,
Are we gonna smell the album?
well, oh yeah, let's smell the album and
Okay.
say how awesome David Bowie is. He influenced everybody. He was a true artist and genius, and even made an art project out of his own death, coinciding it with the release
Sure.
of Black Star, his swan song and final album.
Yeah.
He will be greatly missed, but he made the world a better place, I'd have to say. Much
Yes.
better.
He made his mark.
Never forget.
Ah, now we're going to smell the album and pass it around. While you guys are smelling that, I'm going to do a news story here. All right, so this news story is an international news story. It took place in Russia. So, and this is very interesting,
Very
Stephen.
subtle.
It's very subtle.
All right, but don't talk too loud while I'm reading the important news story. Remember, I'm like Walter Cronkite. I can never say Cronkite. That's very hard. All right, so this woman was left horrified after she cut into a loaf of bread, only to find a severed rat's head inside it. The Russian resident had bought the bread from a local bakery, but after chopping a slice of it off, she was shocked to make the unsavory discovery. I always buy bread from the same local baker. My Russian accent sounds like Dracula, so I'm going to stop doing that. Yeah, it's both tasty and affordable, said the unidentified woman. This time, as usual, I got a loaf of bread to have with my breakfast. When I cut the loaf, I was repulsed and disgusted to find a part of a rat's body there. I must tell you, it put me off my food. The fur and the size of the remains didn't leave me guessing it was a rat. The woman later took to the internet, post pictures of dead rodent inside a loaf of bread. I just don't know how the baker could not notice such a massive piece of rat, she said. How many people have called you that, David? Massive piece of rat.
That was my nickname in high school.
And she said, where are the other body parts of the unlucky animal? The woman fears that someone else has the rest of the rat inside their own bread. I got its head and someone got its ass. And it could have been a male rat, she said. And this brings me to my story. Remember I told you that time?
Exactly.
I was at an Italian restaurant in Staten Island that Doug used to frequent a lot, but I won't say the name. And I found a rat penis in my gabagool. So anyway, this woman called on locals to think twice about eating bread from a local producer. There might be vegetarians among you. So the regular people won't mind a rat butt or a head in their food, but if you're vegetarian, you might be upset. And as for herself, I can only say one thing: I will never eat bread from this producer again, she said. The baker, which has not been identified, is investigating the incident. Launching a full investigation, I gotta say. So, that's all the news we got left. And now, we are running out of time. So does anybody have anything they want to add about David Bowie or the DeSilvas or anything else? Jason?
David Bowie will be missed.
Doug?
Next Friday the 12th, Broadway Bar and Grill.
That's very selfish of you. Only thinking about yourself and
I
not...
got Bowie tattooed on me, buddy.
Oh, that's right. I saw that. You just got that. Very good. That says it all, Doug.
That says it all.
You don't have Boy George tattooed on there. Well, actually, you do. But sorry I mentioned that. So, oh, you know who else died? Crackhead Bob from the Howard
Yeah.
Stern show
What?
died. Yes, at 56.
A whack packer.
A lovable character.
What
And
happened?
he died.
Drugs.
He
Was
was.
it,
He had.
crackhead
It was the
Bob?
crack.
He had 10 strokes, from
Oh.
smoking too much crack. So,
Wow.
how long can you last? So anyway, also this week, Paul Kantner and coincidentally Signe Anderson, both from Jefferson Airplane, died on the same day.
Wow.
She was the singer before Grace Slick.
Yeah.
So, all right, that's it. So now we're going to record a couple David Bowie songs. So thanks for joining us here on Live from Dennis's house, only on 474 The Mix, where the music matters. See you next week. I'll be doing another classic album and Behaving Badly. Like me on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, DennisMorgillo.com. Watch me on the radio, Optimum Cable, and social media.